Sorry this is coming so late and I make a movie will take a few days, so let's begin. At the hospital. MMHM. Where am I? The blonde asked. Naruto, you awake? Don't worry, you're at the hospital after you brought back Sasuke, said Tsunade. I did it then, huh? So how are Sasuke and Sakura? Said the blonde in concern. Well, Sasuke is fine, just a bunch of visible bruises but nothing that won't heal after a few days. As for Sakura, she is currently waiting for him to wake. She's been by his side the whole time. You, on the other hand, had more serious injuries. Though with the Kuwabi's help you are in no danger and can be released today. So just rest up. For now. You undoubtedly deserve it, she said gently, walking out to naturally give him much needed sleep. For the next few hours, his friends would swing by and congratulate him on bringing back Sasuke to the village and how happy they were for them. He was released later that day and rested up at his apartment till an Umbu came to properly inform him he was summoned to the Hokage's office. Entering the office in his normal fashion without knocking. What's up, Granny? Why did you call me? She sat in silence before speaking while trying valiantly to fight back tears. And Naruto, while you were in the hospital I was called by the council. And they raised their concerns and reached a decision. He nodded for her to go on, seeing how hard it was for her to continue talking. They were angry about the rough treatment you gave Sasuke and unanimously decided it would be the best for everyone if you were exiled. Looking at him, her heart almost broke at the sight of her grandchild. She saw the light in his eyes dim a bit with his usual grin and bright atmosphere gone, replaced by a cold aura and a hard stare. Going around the desk hugging him tightly as she broke down in tears with apologies at how she failed him. Granny, I know you tried your best and I'm sorry for all the trouble I put you into, he said as he looked into her eyes with tears. Untying his headband and promptly handing it to her. He gave her one more tight hug as he left to get his affairs in order. Leaving for his apartment, his mind was in a swirl of thoughts and many emotions rushed through him. He was so lost in thought he didn't notice where he was going and ran into Shikamaru. Thanks a lot, Naruto, he said as the blonde helped him up from the ground. So Naruto, what's up? You seem troubled. Shikamaru, can I ask you to get everyone together and tell them to meet me at my apartment? Noticing the serious look, he just nodded and dashed off to gather everyone for whatever he wanted to announce to them. Arriving at his apartment, he started packing all his belongings into a scroll and putting his other essentials into his pack for the journey ahead. After a while, he heard a knock at the door and quickly moved to let his friends into the room. So, guys, I have something to tell you. After I had brought back Sasuke, the council had a meeting with them deciding that since I hurt the last Uchiha that I should be banished. Upon telling this, they were genuinely shocked and pissed at the council for this foolish decision. What will you do now? And Naruto asked Hinata, worried about him. I'm no longer a ninja. So I'll likely travel around and see the world since I have the chance, he said. We should go to the council and demand they change their opinion, said Kiba, with some of them nodding. Kiba, that idea won't work as the council are stubborn and couldn't care less what happens to me. They see this as a good chance to get rid of me, Naruto said. So there's nothing we can do, Neji said sadly. No. But I wanted to thank you all for everything from being my friends to helping me up till now, Naruto said. They all gave him a hug one by one and told him they will try to find a way to bring him back, and soon he sent them home. After everyone left, and he finished packing, he took a last look at his apartment before he set out. He also made sure to head over to Ichiraku's to inform them of his situation and to thank them for all the years of kindness they showed him. It was a tearful goodbye, with Ayam losing a brother and the old man losing not only his best customer but also a son. Making his way to the gate, he saw people smirking. They knew about the council's decision and were beyond happy to be rid of the demon in their eyes. Upon arriving at the gate, he saw his friends and Granny saying one more goodbye and hugging them. He took one last look at the village that he loved and grew up in, which had many of the people he could call family. With that in his mind, he turned around with tears in his eyes and walked at a slow pace to begin his journey to the world outside. The blonde continued down the path with no destination in mind. Still heartbroken from earlier. I thought if I worked hard and showed them, just maybe they would accept me, but it looks like it was all for nothing. Walking till night, he decided to sit under a tree off the main road. He sat in silence for a while till exhaustion caught up to him. And he soon fell asleep. Instead, He awoke to find himself in a sewer. Where am I? He had a feeling something was drawing him to one of the many corridors. Walking till arriving at a cage. Ah. So you finally made it, the figure grinned. Who are you and where am I? Naruto asked, concerned. You needn't worry, I am not your enemy. As for where you are in your mind, but for whom I am Kurama, or the nine-tailed fox. To say Naruto was shocked would be an understatement. He never thought he'd meet, much less talk to, the beast. Yes. I know I am majestic, but try not to stare like a deer caught in a trap, ha ha ha. Sorry, but what are you doing inside of me? I was sealed here by the fourth Hokage for attacking the Leaf Village. Why did you attack Konoha? I didn't want to, I was being controlled by someone. And he forced me to. I also have to apologize to you, my kid, if not for me you wouldn't have been harassed for all those years. His eyes clouded for a moment before clearing. You don't need to apologize, as you said you didn't want to. And we both wound up in a bad situation. You're an unusual one, kid, many would be upset, but you're different. Allow me to help make it up to you. I can properly train you in the way of the ninja and make you the strongest in the 5 nations. That would be awesome, Naruto said with wide eyes of excitement. The Kyuubi had a drop of sweat down his head. Didn't take much to turn him around, did it, Sai? I will instruct you tomorrow, but now you must sleep, you've been through a lot. Darkness once again washed over Naruto for a peaceful sleep. Waking up the following morning and doing his established routine of making breakfast and washing up, he wondered what Kurama would teach him. Kid. Kurama, is that you? How are you talking to me? Since we've bonded. You are now able to hear my voice. That is not important, let us begin your lessons. The lessons were the ground basics of many remarkable things, from chakra control to fighting stances. He had spent a few hours practicing these lessons before he decided to take his break. His thoughts returned to his longtime home and how he already missed Granny and his friends. Listen, kid, I need to ask you something. What is it, Gurm? What is it you want to do? You no longer can become Hokage, but what will your goal be now? Thinking to himself. He sat in silence, thinking back at his life, and all he wanted was friendship and admiration. I will become one of the strongest shinobi. I no longer have a home, but I will train. So I can protect the people I hold dear. Haha, seems you're determined. Remember your goal when you find yourself at an impasse. Realizing just what he was doing. Thank you, Kurama, I know we haven't been together for long, but I'm glad I got to meet you. This training continued for 2 weeks as he made good progress before he ran into an issue that is low on supplies. Promptly deciding to travel once again, Naruto naturally went in search of a village or town. On the 3rd day he finally arrived at a small mountainside village. Upon entering the village he saw it was run down and the people looked at him in fear and suspicion. Wonder what their deal is. He was soon stopped by an older man. Excuse me. Young man. May I know the nature of your business here? Huh. Oh. I kinda ran out of food 2 days ago and was wondering if you might have some I could buy, he laughed sadly. The old man sighed. Forgive me, this village has fallen on hard times and is wary of outsiders. Naruto was soon invited to eat lunch by the man who introduced himself as Wu, an elder for the village. So old man, you said this village was struggling, may I ask how? The elder hesitated. This village once was a bit more lively, but recently a group of bandits has been harassing us. Stealing livestock and taking our money for protection. So why don't you hire ninja then? Sigh. We don't the money. And we barely have enough money to feed ourselves. People have tried to stop them. But they were all killed, so no one dare raise a fist to them. They both sat in silence. As they finished lunch they heard a huge commotion outside and a fierce voice spoke. Hey old man. We're here for our tribute. Heading outside with Elder Wu he saw 3 men. One was a big, burly man with a club and 2 slim guys on either side of him. So there must be the bandits the elder mentioned earlier. So old man, you got our money or do we have to get rough, said the man with the club in a harsh voice. Please, I beg you, spare us, we do not have the money to pay. It was a bad year for us, Wu pleaded. Ha. Sounds like excuses to me, but if that's the case, how about we just rummage around and see what we find? Naruto was at wit's end. Hey, leave the elder be. Oh. The club man said with raised brows. This your grandson here, I assume? Not wasting a second he replied instantly with a yes. He is merely a boy, I hope you could forgive his insolence, he bowed. Ha. You're lucky I'm such an understanding and friendly guy, or else I beat both you and the boy here blue. Many thanks. Elder Wu bowed even deeper. The three men made their way to the hut before the boy called out for them to stop. Huh? What was that, kid? Could you repeat that? I said stop and leave these people alone, you bore. They all sat in silence with the two slim guys in shock of what they called the leader. Gur. You damn brat, you should know when to hold your tongue. Then why don't you make me then? Naruto countered. Looking to the elder, he smilingly told him not to worry and that he would take them down. I hope you're prepared for me to send ya to the afterlife. I hope you're ready for me to roast you up, poor Naruto countered. A tick grew on his head. He was beyond pissed, and raising his club he struck at Naruto. Big talk now, die. Whoosh. The club missed his head as he dodged effortlessly, and turning to face the two slim men running at him with daggers, he pulled out his kunai. Clang, clang, clang. They exchanged blows. But Naruto quickly gained the upper hand, disarming both and knocking them out with a blow to the neck. Seems you are skilled somewhat, the boar man said. Going back to their fight, consisting of Naruto dodging the club and hitting him here and there whenever the opening arises. Seeing at how slippery he was being, the blonde was driving him even further into a rage. Stay still, you brat. Slamming his club down on Naruto's head, he was happy till a poof of smoke revealed a log. What? Taking the opportunity, Naruto struck him in the back of the knee, instantly dropping him to the ground, and promptly kicked him in the face, launching him a few feet. Panting, the man struggled as he got up. Why you? I will tell the big bro on you. Running off just as fast he arrived, leaving both the slim men. Naruto let out a sigh of relief. Elder Wu was speechless. He never thought the child in front of him could defeat them, much less drive them off. Thank you. But you must hurry and leave the man who left mention, telling his brother he is dangerous. Elder Wu, I sincerely thank you for your genuine concern, but I can't let you kind people be bullied by them. Such a selfless boy, thought the elder. What should we do with these two? He said, pointing at slim men still passed out. Tie them up. I will see if I can find their hideout when they wake up, the blonde said in a scary tone. It was a while before they awoke, and Naruto promptly got to work on info gathering. With a little motivation, he found out the bandits had a camp a little way up the mountain, as well as how many. In total there were 15 minus the 2 here, so it naturally made things a little easier. He also found out about their leader, an intelligent man named Tozaku, but nothing else was known about him. Swiftly gathering his wits, he set out for the bandit camp and informed the others to wait for his return. Bandit camp. Brother Tozaku. Brother Tozaku. What is it? The man said with a fierce scowl. I was down in the village to get tribute earlier, but I ran into an issue. Oh. Is all the man had said. He told the story of what happened and how he was beaten by a kid. Ha ha ha. Be brother. No, it's nothing, sorry, but it just not something you would expect to hear. Finished laughing, his face turned serious with a cold stare that sent shivers down the boar man's spine. What should we do, brother? Do we take the others to the village and torch it? No. I believe this kid of yours will come to find us. So we just need to wait. Nodding, he went to tell the others in the camp about the plan. Arriving at the clearing, he overlooked the campsite from the trees and carefully noted the positions of the guards. Wisely deciding it was best to wait for nightfall before he made his move. Upon nightfall and not noticing any movement in the camp, he set out. On the far side, one of the guards was taking a leak and was subdued quickly. As for the others, they were nodding off. It didn't take long to sneak up on them and knock them out. With lookouts down, he carefully made his way to one of the tents. Reaching for the tent, he instantly felt a shiver down his spine and jumped back, narrowly dodging a sword. The bandits who were lying in wait quickly surrounded him, making sure he couldn't escape. But they didn't see the smirk the blonde had. So I'm sure you wonder why I gathered you here tonight, he said slyly with a smirk still on his face. They charged at him, striking with clubs, swords and knives. He easily sidestepped one, smashing his fit in the man's gut, dropping him instantly. Another brought his sword down on Naruto's head, but he quickly blocked with his kunai and swiftly kicked the man in the ribs before turning to face the others. Disarming two with knives, he focused on the man with the club, knocking him into his comrades and following up with a punch to each of them. The rest followed swiftly after that on the ground in pain. I see they were matched for you, brat. Turning, Naruto saw the leader of the bandits leaning lazily against a tree. From your moves, I can tell you've had some form of ninja training, but since I don't see a headband on you, likely means you've left. Not that it honestly matters much to me who you are or where you came from, since you'll be in the ground soon. Naruto carefully studied the man's posture and movements and knew precisely that he was a ninja of at least Chunin rank, but that was as much as he could determine. What give you the right to steal from these innocent villagers when they've done nothing wrong? This question sent the man into a little laughing fit and earned a glare from the blonde. I don't need a reason, as I can take what I will, for it's the strong who live while the weak suffer in this world. Tozaku said with a wide grin. This got the blonde's blood boiling at how little he cares for the villagers, as if they didn't matter in the slightest. Bastard, you can't just treat people like that. Oh. Why not in this world? It's strong eat the weak. Not some fantasy world where people all live happily together. The bandit responded, annoyed. Well, that all changes today, as I'm going to stop you from hurting the villagers and get back the things you stole from them, cried the blonde. Sigh. I usually don't like fighting, especially kids, but since you've hurt my men and become a nuisance, seem like I have no other choice. With words out of the way, both leaped a good distance from one another and got into their stances while eyeing the other, looking for weak spots. Tozaku was the first to move, dashing forward and swigging at Naruto head. The blonde, who was initially surprised by his speed, dodged in time. Countering with a kick to the ribs, he sent the man back for a second before he recovered and attacked once again. Both set with the intent to kill, they kicked, punched and dodged, trying to get past the defense of the other. Naruto, having been struck in the side with a fist and having the air knocked from him, was sent back from a kick, smashing into a tree. Lasted longer than I expected, but no matter, this is where it ends for you, Tozaku said with a fierce scowl. ETH style, Tamaishi Denmaku, Pebble Barrage. Rocks began to float into the air before shooting at the blonde at fast speeds. Jumping to his left, Naruto dodged the relentless barrage by a hair and was quickly pelted with another. He was flung a bit by the debris but got up fine with the Kua by healing his minor scrapes. Ha, looks like you were all talk, so how about this earth style, Kaguya no Doro, mud weights? With no time to react, Uzi Mud began to cover his legs, ensnaring him, keeping him from running, and upon the move striking, the bandit jumped at him, piercing him with a kunai. Looks like I won, boy. It took a second before he noticed something was amiss. And he saw it was a log. Damn brat, used the substitute. Since you're going all out, I should too, Naruto said from behind him. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, multi-shadow clone. With a poof of smoke, more than 100 Narutos appeared in the clearing, surprising the bandit at how many clones were there. Charge! They all shouted at once. Tozaku did his best to dodge and took out a few clones, though more of them managed to land hits on him, to which he fought even more ferociously till the clones were dispelled. Panting heavily. So it seems like you had an ace up your sleeve, but I possess one too. Earth style, Bunshin no Jutsu. A clone made of earth rose from the ground. This surprised Naruto, as he didn't expect the man to know a clone justice as well. Well, two can play at that, the blonde said. Kage Bushin no Jutsu. Once more multiple shadow clones appeared and charged the clone. But the earth clone was stronger than the shadow clone, knocking them out with ease. Now all that was left were 3 Narutos. Not taking a second to enable them to breathe, the earth clone charged, striking 2 and dispelling them and punching the one in the middle. Arg! Naruto was brought to his knees, coughing and panting as the clone knocked the wind out of him hard. He seems like you were all talk, the leader said, dispelling the clone and walking to the blonde, grabbing him by the hair. He raised his head to look him in the eyes while pulling out a kunai. Nice try, kid, but like I said, the strong survive. The blonde looked at him for a second before smiling and poofing into smoke. What, he was a clone, but when? On cue, Naruto busted from the ground, uppercutting the man hard and sending him reeling back. You tricked me, you brat, he said, heavily panting. They went silent, both looking into each other's eyes, then charged at each other one last time. Striking for his heart, the bandit was blocked and hit straight across the jaw, sending him flying and ending the fight. How did you beat me? I was strong and you were weak. Maybe if you didn't push others away you would understand, replied the blonde, looking into his eye. It's because you deluded yourself and had no reason to fight. As for me, I was fighting for the villagers, not myself. And they gave me the power to win. Boss man, a cry was heard as the other bandits who recovered rushed over to Tozaku and lifted him. Looking at them with a cold glare, the blonde that sent shivers down their spines, he said, I beat you, so leave and never bother these villagers again, or else I will end you. Angry beyond belief, Tozaku had no choice but to agree. Fine then, I will leave this village to you then, brat. With that, Tozaku, supported by the other bandits, walked off. Once they left, Naruto plopped on the ground sighing in relief at his hard-won victory. "You did it, kid, seems my training paid off." "Oh. Hi. Kurama, and yet it sure did. But I was so close to losing. If I didn't use that trick he would have gotten me. You were always a trickster. So I had no doubt you would think of something. Believe in me that much, do ya? Hee. Shut up. Since you're container, I have no choice but to hope for the best. MHM. Whatever you saw, buddy," the blonde replied, laughing his ass off. After a bit of rest he looked around the camp. Going through each tent he saw some things of mild interest. Mostly swords or knives and other weapons which he stored into a scroll he had on him. He arrived at what he reasonably suspected was the leader's, since it was bigger, and saw inside was a desk and a chest to the right of it. Looking around inside he saw a few things of note, one being a sword with a golden symbol embedded into the sheath. He put that away for later inspection and noticed a few masks on the table. The masks represent a fox, turtle and a bear. He also stored these away as they would come in handy later. Leaving the tent and going to the last one next to this one, he saw it was for storage with several boxes. Opening some he saw food, money, and jewelry. Seems he found the stolen good from the villagers. He made some clones to carry the boxes and loaded them onto some carts that were nearby before making his trip back to the village. He arrived at nightfall. Getting closer to the village he saw torches and people standing around, who he guessed were the people waiting to see if he did it or not. They all gasped and were teary-eyed as he entered the village with the carts of stolen loot the bandits had taken. They all rushed to him, giving him hugs and heartful thanks for what he did. Even Elder Wu was crying passionately, as the village was undoubtedly saved and their considerable troubles were gone. For the next 2 days, they celebrated both the bandits leaving and their blonde hero arrival in the village. It was a fun experience with people dancing, eating and drinking merrily. On the third day, Naruto informed the elder he was leaving. "Are you sure, young man, you save us and none of the others would mind if you stayed here with us?" He smiled warmly while shaking his head. "I'm sorry, Elder Wu, but I have to be going. For now. I want to travel the world. Not be tied down to a single place, but I thank you all for the offer." The elder merely chuckled. "You don't need to worry about offending me. I understand you're young and seek excitement and wonder. Remember that you will always have a place here with us." The blonde once again gave a smile that could light up a room with thanks. Packing up the supplies he got from the villagers, he began to make his way out till he was stopped by Wu. "Wait, before you go, we wish to know your name." The other nodding, as they too wanted to know who their hero was. Turning to face them with a grin he said, "My name is Naruto Uzumaki, but for now you should call me Kitsune." Konoha. 1 week after Naruto's banishment, Tsunade was sitting in her chair looking out the window, staring off into the distance. It took a few days, but news of Naruto's departure reached all across the elemental nations, with many looking at Konoha with disgust and anger. Every place the blonde had been to had voiced their anger over the decision, with some of the Leaf's allies dropping alliances and trade agreements and the Fire Daimyo furious about the whole matter. Suna still kept the pact, but other than that they neither liked nor cared about the village. "So they finally see all the hard work you put in for the village. I just wish it was under different circumstances. Wherever you are, Naruto, I just hope you're happy and can forgive me for failing you in your time of need," thought Tsunade, holding back tears for her favorite grandson. After his banishment, many from the civilian side celebrated about him leaving, while the shinobi felt sad about the whole thing. While many never openly admitted to liking the blonde, they did respect him and enjoyed having him around, as he brought a breath of fresh air and life to the village in his way. His friends continued their training, promising to become stronger and find a way to bring him back to them. Hinata was broken for a while before she gathered her courage, remembering what he would do in this situation. He would never take it lying down, and neither would she with that fire. She grew at an immense rate, with Niji helping her with spars and clan techniques. Many people wished him the best and hoped to see him in the future, thus the will of fire grew with each day in the hope of saving their friend. With Naruto after the mountain village. Leaving the village, Naruto wandered the forest for the next few weeks to continue his intensive training under Kurama. He also took the time to examine the loot from the bandits and separate them in terms of condition and durability. As for the sword he got from Tozaku's tent, he found very little about sword except that it had a golden dragon as the emblem. Continuing with his march through the woods was, unfortunate to say the least, as he managed to fall into a ditch, get chased by a bear and run into some ivy which caused a rash. Throughout the whole ordeal, Kurama was laughing hysterically at the poor blonde, with him cursing Kami for messing with him. Leaving the forest, he soon found himself in a town called Oashisu. It was a bit run down but better than being in the woods for weeks on end. Besides, he also came to the city to sell the items he got from the bandits as his wallet was getting empty. He asked around before he was naturally directed to a weapons shop on the far side of town. Once inside, he noticed many good items, but with no money, much less the knowledge on how to use it, would make it a waste. "Excuse me sir, do you happen to buy items?" The man nodded and the blonde pulled out the scroll with the items but still had some in another scroll for later. Examining them closely for what seemed forever, he managed to come up with a price. "Some of the stuff you gave me looked worn out, so best I can give you is 3,000 ryo." The blonde accepted the deal and soon walked out with his money with him, deciding on what he needed to buy next for his journey. Along the way, he was bumped into by a kid who apologized before running off. "Kid, you might want to check your wallet." The confused blonde did as he said and nearly had a heart attack. "It's gone, my wallet, but when whe-. He remembered the kid who ran into him and set out to find him by searching from the rooftops. It didn't take much to find him, but Naruto waited for him to stop before confronting him. "Can't run from a ninja," said the blonde, admiring his tracking skills. "Ha, if you were a true ninja you wouldn't have been pickpocketed." This got the blonde riled up. "I was lost in thought it could have happened to anyone." "Sure it could have." After a few more minutes of his argument with Kurama, he went carefully towards the shack the boy went in. Once close enough, he overheard an argument taking place. "And but why?" "Because stealing is wrong. Sure, the money can help us, but if we have to take it from another, then we are no better those gangsters." It took them a moment to notice he was standing in the doorway. "Oh. My apologies for not noticing you sir, but may I ask what you want?" "Yes. It seems your brother here took something from me earlier," he said, pointing at the bag. "I'm very sorry, please forgive my brother," she said, handing him the bag and bowing with her head on the ground. "You don't need to bow, I got it back, so it's all water under the bridge." She looked up at him, surprised by his kindness, then offered him to eat with them. She introduced herself as Kotomi and her son was named Kai. "Pardon me, but why does the city look so gloomy?" "Well, you see, there is a mine not too far from here. It's how the town makes money. Then one day a group of gangsters arrived, threatened to torch our town and took over the mine, keeping the workers there. My husband hasn't been home in weeks and I'm afraid of what they could do to him." She tried her best not to break down in front of him and her son. Putting one hand on her shoulder, he looked her in the eyes. "Do not cry, I will see what I can." "Why, you will get father back," Kai said, tearing up, to which the blonde nodded. He soon left them and set off towards the mine and upon arriving he saw men in chains working while the gangsters slacked off. He moved fast, knocking out the ones outside, and freed the men there before heading into the mine. Entering, he came across more gangsters, knocking them out here and there, no one putting up much of a challenge. He arrived at a large circular room in the mine where the rest of the men were working with the last bit of guards present. Placing himself under an invisibility genjutsu he learned from Kurama, he carefully made his way over to a group of prisoners. "Hey, don't look, but I'm here to get you all out. I will cut your chains, but don't move till I give the signal." They all quickly nodded as he cut them loose and did the same to the others. Making his way back to the entrance, he undid the jutsu. "Hello, seems I'm lost, can you help me?" The guards spun around. "You, who are you?" one of them asked, spooked. "Well, I was taking a stroll and before I knew it I was here." This made them mad as they all lined up to beat the blonde, leaving the now free prisoner to gather behind them. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. The clones appearing, blocking the entrance. "Seems you guys are surrounded." "Ha. What are you talking about, Blondie?" They then noticed the freed prisoners and began to shake in fear. It didn't take long for them to finish the gangsters. After tying them up, the miners thanked him for what he did. He also said that further down were more cells and could have more people. Making his way further into the mine, he arrived at the makeshift cells, which seemed empty till he got to the last one. Inside he saw a young man no older than him with brown hair, and from the looks he was being starved. Making his way into the cell, the boy never raised his head. "See, come to beat me more, have you?" He silently sat waiting for the beating. "No, I'm neither here to hurt you or yell at you, I'm here to free you." The boy looked up into the eyes of the blonde, looking for a hint of deceit but found none. Naruto untied the man and helped walk him to the entrance. "Why are you helping me?" "Because you were in need of it," replied the blonde. Thank you," he said, making the blonde smile at him. "Come on, let's get you out of this mine." said the blonde with the boy returning a smile. After the events of the mine. The next few days flew by as the once trapped miners were able to go home to their families. While the town was finally able to recover sufficiently without the trouble of the local hoodlums anymore. Naruto stayed in Oashiso to wait for the person he rescued to awake. The villagers tried to get him to stay with them. But he didn't want to impose. So he rented a hotel room. Where am I? The boy asked in a daze. You don't remember I saved you from the mine. And we are currently in a hotel. Replied the cheerful blonde. If it's not too much to ask why they imprisoned you like that. The boy sat in silence looking at the blonde as if peering into his soul. If you don't want to tell me I understand. Naruto said with a kind smile. No. I feel I can trust you. He replied in a stoic voice. You sure that's a good idea? We only just met, I could be after your clan secrets. The boy shook his head to the blonde. Your eyes, I can tell by your eyes, are displaying the truth. The blonde shrugged his shoulders. If you say so. Well. We haven't been introduced. My name is Naruto Uzumaki and yours? I am Chuzei Kokoro. He replied before getting off the bed and bowing with his head on the ground. Naruto-sama, I must thank you for freeing me. He said in a stoic voice. The blonde was speechless at how robotic he sounded. No need to thank me, it's what anyone would have done. Chuzei merely shook his head. Not anyone would risk his life to save others without thinking of themselves. Naruto shrugging merely replied. Guess I'm different from everyone else. That aside, how about we get some fresh air? Chuzei nodded. And they left their hotel for a stroll around the town. What surprised the blonde as they were walking was the number of people who came to thank him and shake his hand. Chuzei just smirked at the blonde, who was embarrassed from the praise. He is different from others I have seen. Just maybe he can help. He thought to himself. You okay, Chuzei? Sorry, I was just lost in thought. The blonde looked at him concerned but nodded and let it slide. They ended up in a park and took a small break. Naruto-sama, may I ask what your plans are? Chuzei said, breaking the silence. Well, I don't have a plan or destination in mind. For now. I just wander from place to place. They sat in silence again until Chuzei spoke up. Do you mind if I came with you? The surprised the blonde, he wasn't expected this. Why don't you have somewhere to go? The brown-haired boy shook his head. No, I have no place to call home. So I have been wandering. So he is like me. The blonde thought to himself. I have no problem with it. And it will be good to have help, as I have no sense of direction, it seems. He said sheepishly while rubbing the back of his neck. Naruto then told him of his adventures, of how he got lost in the woods for weeks and chased by animals. How is he still alive, he thought while deadpanning at the blonde. They eventually went back to the hotel to properly pack and rest for the journey. It was another few weeks of hiking through the woods while also practicing. Chuzei was helping Naruto with his chakra control, as he still required help with his massive supply. After training, they both got quickly set up a campfire and got to gathering necessary supplies for dinner. With Naruto not allowed to do the cooking due to his stating previously all his food was horrible. Quietly eating, they look at the night sky till one of them broke the silence. So Chuzei, I was wondering about your home. The brown-haired boy looked into the distance with a small sad smile. Seeing this, the blonde mentally kicking himself for being an idiot. I'm sorry if it's something bad, you don't have to force yourself. No. It's fine, Naruto, you were just curious. Seeing how he looked to be contemplating, Naruto waited for him patiently. Have you heard of Kiri? The hidden mist? I don't know much about it. The blonde replied. My clan lived in Kiri and it's where I grew up. It was a beautiful place, but things changed. The fourth Mizukage enacted a purge to kill off people with bloodlines. My clan was nearly wiped out and not many of us survived the escape from Kiri. After escaping, we all scattered. So I don't know where the others are. Naruto was in shock that someone would do something so cruel and evil to their people. Though he too knew what it meant to be singled out for being different from everyone else. That's unforgivable. Why would the Mizukage do that? Why slaughter innocent people? He said, pissed. I can't honor that, as I don't know myself. It's just happened so suddenly that no one knew what to do. Naruto put his hand on the man's shoulder and smiled at him. Sounds like this guy needs a good punch to the face. I should head over there and show him my mind. Chuzei looked shocked. Either the blonde was crazy or he meant every word. Either way, he was glad he found a trustworthy companion. They continued talking about things they had witnessed in their travels before going back to the tent for sleep. Elsewhere. Boom crack boom damn. Damn brat, said a man hitting a tree over and over. Boss, calm down, you need more rest. The neither heard nor cared as he was pissed beyond belief upon his loss. When I see that brat again, I'm going to beat him till he pleads for mercy. Clap clap clap. Hearing footsteps coming from the other side of the clearing, they turned to see a shadowy figure. I see your desire and it interests me. Do you seek power? The figure asked with a grin. Yes. I want to be stronger to beat the snot out of a certain brat. Kukiku, then I can give you that power. All you need is follow me and power will be yours. He thought it over. This man was suspicious. But he didn't care. All he wanted was revenge. Boss, don't listen to him. His men told him, wary of the figure. I don't care, I accept your offer. I want as much power as I can get. The figure's smile grew bigger. Kukiku, seems I wasn't wrong about you. Follow me. And you will get your revenge. The figure said, walking away with him following and his men. Next time we meet, brat, you're dead. He said, smiling to himself. Following the events of the mining town and meeting Chuzei and learning about his past, Naruto and Chuzei after their hike through the woods and were soon traveling on the main road. They were passing time by telling stories of their past and other things they have seen. One classic story from Naruto was how he snuck into the third Hokage's office when he went for a bathroom break. He did a jutsu to double paperwork on the old man's desk before quickly sneaking back out. On his way, he could have sworn he could hear snickering from the room. When the third came back to the considerable pile of paperwork, he attempted to burn down the tower, with the Umbu having to restrain him before he could do it. You love your pranks, don't you? Chuzei said with a chuckle, fondly imagining the third's face. Darn right I do. Pranks are hilarious and also good ninja training. The blonde replied with a large grin. As the two continued down the road, they heard someone cursing and decided to go see what was up. It was an older man with a cart that seemed to have lost one of the wheels. Greetings, sir, do you require some assistance? Asked Chuzei in his traditional stoic voice but with a slight smile. Yes. As you can see, my cart lost one of the wheels. Help me put the spare on and I will give you a discount on my wares. Both boys looked at each other and nodded approvingly. Putting the spare on was easy with Naruto's clones doing the lifting. There we go, thank you. Boys. Now I have something that might aid you. What is that? Asked the blonde with his head cocked. The old man rummaged around a bit in some crates before coming back with a few scrolls and handing them over. Here, I think you should find these very helpful. Chuzei took one and opened it and was shocked. Sir, we can't take these. Oh. Don't be silly, you helped me and I've had these for a while now. The old merchant waved it off. Now it has been a pleasure to meet you both, but now I must be going. Keep safe, you too. He said, traveling the opposite direction. Both Chuzei and Naruto waved to him before continuing, then later setting up camp for the night. Looking at the scrolls, 3 of them were elemental jutsus and the last one was a storage scroll with some chakra paper and a few snacks the old man seems to have thrown in. Wow, this is cool, so where do we start? The blonde asked, jumping in joy over the scrolls. Well, we have to find out what your element is. But we will do that tomorrow. With a nod, the blonde helped put away the cooking tools and went to sleep. The next day. All right. Naruto-sama, I need you to take this paper. Handing it to him, but the blonde was confused. What am I supposed to do with this? Deadpanning at him. Channel your chakra into the paper. And we shall know what you're good at. Doing as he said, he poured chakra into the paper. After a few seconds, the paper crinkled while a tear appeared on the paper. Seems you have a strong lightning nature with the wind as your second, Chuzei informed him. Cool. Was the blonde's response. So Chuzei, what's your nature? Mine's are water and fire. The blonde looked at him confused. Aren't water and fire conflicting? Chuzei just chuckled. Yes, you would think. But they can be combined in some ways. Though enough about me, let's look at these scrolls. Looking through the scrolls, the first was lightning with the second water. The third was an earth scroll, but that didn't help since neither had that affinity. Tossing the lightning scroll to the blonde. I'll be studying this one while you test out that. He nodded and both went on their way. Training went on for the next few hours till both were tired and decided to call it a night. The next morning they both woke up, did their routines and trained some more till Chuzei walked over to Naruto. "Hey. There's something we need to talk about." "Huh? What is it?" the blonde asked with the tilt of his head. "Well, we have a small amount of money, but that won't last as long." Naruto nodded his head. "So what do you propose?" "Well, there is a bounty station nearby, we could make a request." Seeing his companion in confusion, he explained. "See, those not with villages but have ninja skills can go to a bounty station to either cash in a bounty or take up a request." Slowly taking it in, he asked. "What kind?" "Well, that depends on the client, it could be protection or assassination." He nodded his head as it was no different from what he would get back at the Leaf. "So where is the station?" "Close to us, about an hour away." With that, they both packed up and starting on their way. An hour later that arrived at the station, but Chuzei stopped his friend before he entered. "Naruto, before we go in we need to disguise ourselves." "Why?" asked the blonde. "Well, we don't want no one to know who we are while taking bounties." He nodded at the explanation and rummaged through his bag for a scroll and handing Chuzei one of the masks. Naruto had the fox mask while Chuzei had the turtle. Walking inside they both noticed it was like a bar with people sitting around drinking and talking. Making their way over to the counter they sat until a man came over to them. "So what can I get you to?" he asked while studying both men. "We are here for a request," Chuzei spoke in his stoic voice. "I have one right here." Looking under the counter he handed them a paper that read, "Looking for assistance with a matter of importance," followed by the location and pay upon completion. They thanked the man and left as soon as they came. In 2 days, they made it to another city, Tama Ichiba. They quickly made it to an inn where the client was waiting. Making their way to a back room, the client was a woman about 5'6", 1.68 m, black hair and brown eyes. She seemed to have an air of authority around her as well as calculating eyes. Chuzei, the speaker of the two, was the one who broke the silence. "Greetings, I am Kame and my companion is Kitsune." Naruto merely nodded. "I thank both of you for coming to Yasui no Hana, and the reason for the request is I need you to protect me during a ball." Both look at each other before she continued. "You see, my family are merchants and as such we have made great strides in making profits. Making us a noble name in a sense, and for me, I am heir to the company. Recently I've had attempts on my life, though they failed, they've come closer and closer. I don't know who's doing it, but I know the banquet in a few days will be too much of an opportunity to pass up. A simple protection mission until the party was over, a simple enough task. We will accept, Lady Yasui." She smiled and shook their hands while telling them they could use the room in the inn till the party. With the introductions done and the client went, they both began to prepare for the party in 2 days. Bonus. Naruto and Sasuke were facing off on the statues of Hashirama and Madara. A showdown for the ages like never before. "Sasuke, you can't stop me. I won't go back." "Naruto, I will bring you back one way or another." "Sasuke, ha. How are you gonna do that?" "Naruto, easy. I can take you down with one just to." "Sasuke, ha ha ha, if you think you can then try it." The blonde formed a hand sign. This had the raven-haired boy curious as to what he was plotting. "Naruto, harem you no just do." A puff of smoke appeared and figures began to surround Sasuke. When the smoke cleared he saw he was surrounded by female Narutos. "Harem, Sasuke." "Sasuke, what do you want to do?" "Sasuke." Sasuke was frozen in his mind where the words of WTF, but soon blood trickled down his nose. And he was shot into a rock behind him, knocking him out. Undoing the just do after seeing the raven launch. "Naruto, he still got it?" Following the events after Naruto and Chuzei accepted a job to protect a merchant at a party. "Party? See anything out of the ordinary, Naruto?" Chuzei asked over comms. "No, nothing on my end." "So far so good," he replied, bored. So far no one had tried anything, but that didn't mean they weren't out there. The plan the two had been that Naruto was outside while Chuzei was inside stealthily watching over the client. Things went on fine for another hour till boom, a portion of the wall was destroyed. Everyone ran for cover except Chuzei. He waited with kunai drawn for an attack. When the smoke finally cleared there were 3 figures in grinning masks. "You there, this is a private zone, please leave," said one of the foolish butlers. One of them silenced him with a kunao. Jumping from the roof, Naruto threw shurikens at the figures. But they easily dodged them. Naruto, you get the two on the left, I got the guy on the right. The blonde merely nodded and they separated them. With Chuzay. He landed on the far right side of the courtyard near a pool. I hope you can give me a challenge. The masked man said. Both Chuzay and the man got into their fighting stances waiting for the other to make the first move. Both finally moved to dash towards each other. Clang. Exchanging blows, the man easily pushed Chuzay away. Let's see how you fare against this. Fire style, House Anka no Jutsu, mythical fire flower. 4 small balls of fire were propelled towards Chuzay. And he countered with his jutsu water style, Mizu Shuriken no Jutsu, water shurikens. Both the fire flowers and the water shurikens hit one another, generating a small amount of steam. Tch, he's a water user, not gonna get far with this. The masked man instantly thought. He looked left and right but didn't see Chuzay, but off to his left he heard. Water style, Mizu Peruto, water pellet. A bullet of water shot at him fast. He was able to dodge most of it, but it hit him in the shoulder, launching him back a bit. Cheeky bastard used the steam. Fire style, Ryuuka no Jutsu, fire dragon. A dragon shot right at the brown-haired boy, giving him little time. He got away but not without some burns. Looks like we're even. The man said. Both taking stances, they prepare themselves again. Water style, Mizu Shuriken no Jutsu, water shurikens. Fire style, House Anka no Jutsu, mythical fire flower. Once again the attacks hit head-on and exploded, creating more steam. This time the man employed the steam to his advantage and charged, catching Chuzay off guard for a second and stabbing him with a kunao on his arm. Not a deep wound, but with the extensive burns his injuries were collecting. This is fun. Been a while since I found someone to match me. The man said with a chuckle. Getting ready to strike, they both stopped when they instantly noticed a fireball shoot into the sky and exploded. Tch, well, looks like I have to go, see you around. With that, he promptly vanished, leaving Chuzay panting. I hope Naruto's alright. With Naruto landing on the other side of the courtyard, Naruto stared at the two masked figures. All of them in their stances, waiting attentively for one of them to move. The black-haired one threw kunao while the other one rushed to engage in taijutsu. The taller figure with nut brown hair sent kick followed by a punch at Naruto's gut and head. Dodging both, he countered with a punch to his face which was deflected, hitting him in the shoulder. The nut brown haired man threw a mix of kunao and shurikens, but Naruto counter surprised the man. Yatama Henshin Bakaha, projectile deflection blast. Seeing the projectiles speed towards them, the black-haired one shouted. Earth style, Darokugashi, rock shield. Summoning the shield to block, followed by Gukaku no Jutsu, powerful fireball. With no time to dodge, Naruto used the replacement to swap with a log. That was close, he is strong, thought the blonde. Kage Bushin no Jutsu. Summoning 5 clones, he launched at them, with 2 at the raven-haired figure and 3 towards the other. Throwing punches and kicks at the man, he easily dodged, not noticing one of the clones sneak up behind him. Kaze no Dangan, wind bullet. He swore as he was struck in the back and launched a few feet from the impact. The raven had dispelled the 2 clones and shouted. Kaudo Supeku, earth spikes. Spike shooting out of the ground at the blonde, with him dodging but getting a few scratches. Kaze no Dangan, wind bullet. He shouted once again, with the raven summoning the earth shield again, not noticing the blonde smile. One clone came out of hiding, pulling out some kunao. Junsei Reikao kunao no Jutsu, pure lightning kunao technique. Throwing the kunao enhanced with lightning, they penetrated the wall before exploding from the tags he added to the kunao. The raven, caught off guard, was launched into a tree while the other dodged just fine. Standing up, the raven could be heard panting hard while the other seemed to be fine at the moment. Not wanting them to catch their breath, the blonde rushed them, engaging with taijutsu. Blocking a kick, he backhanded the raven. And the sucker punched the brown hair boy but received a punch to his gut. Panting, the blonde knew he was near his limit and had to end it soon. Kage Bushin no Jutsu. He charged them once again with his clones, punching and kicking till the original got up behind the brown-haired man. Denshi no Jutsu, lightning release, electron technique. Shooting a ball of electricity at the man, he turned swiftly and noted he was unable to dodge. He grabbed the raven and used them as a shield. What are you doing? Aren't you guys friends? He yelled with his blood boiling at the sight. The man laughed at his passionate outburst. We're acquaintances, nothing more, I have no friends. Gritting his teeth, the blonde prepared to strike again. You do well for someone so young, but I must go for now, he said before shooting a fireball into the air and vanishing instantly. Seeing him gone, the blonde sighed in relief before checking on the downed figure, noting they were still alive. He quickly tied them and slinging them over his shoulder, he went to go see if Jose fared better than him. The fight might have been a little bad, but hey, better than nothing, and the story we've had so far right. Hope you all have a wonderful night or day. After the fight between our duo and the assassins. Fixed. Naruto meets back up with Jose in the ballroom where the client was at. Miss Hana, we've chased off the assassins. Hana sat down as the stress was getting to her. So do you think they will return? Her voice filled with worry. I believe so, miss. My partner and I will continue to protect you till they are taken care of. Just nodding, she noticed the person Naruto was carrying. What about that one? She pointed to the tied up person. This time Naruto spoke up. Let us handle this one. She nodded again and left them to adequately prepare for the next encounter. They took the prisoner to the hotel they were staying at. Removing the raven's mask, they found out it was a she. Around the same age as them. Jose bandaged her up the best he could while respecting her privacy. She sleeps for 2 whole days before waking up. Ugh. She groaned. Her whole body hurt and tried to get up to fall back on the bed. Looking around the hotel, pondering how she ended up here, and soon she heard the door open and a figure steps into the room. Ah. You're awake, how do you feel? He spoke too loudly as she held her head in hope of calming her headache. Oh, sorry about that. You've been asleep for 2 days, he smiled brightly at her. Thank you. She blushed a little. Where am I and who are you? The raven inquired while observing the boy in front of her. Well, I'm Naruto and you're at a hotel that my partner and I have been staying at. The raven nodded, and now it was the blonde's turn to ask. So if it's not too much, can I ask you who the other 2 masked men were? Her eyes widened. Realizing he was one of the 2 ninjas that were protecting the target, and once again she tried to get up to no avail. Wow, calm down, you don't need to worry, he stated after seeing her tense up. Why should I answer you? I have my pride as a ninja and I won't sell out my comrades, she stated while looking away from him. In honesty, he respected that she would protect her comrades. Even though they used you as a shield then left you to be captured. He instantly asked, breathless, waiting for her reaction. The raven tensed up once again as she remembered the events of the attack and how she was mistreated. She had respected her leader at one point, but now he threw her away like trash. Why should I trust you? After all, I was betrayed by my comrades. How can I trust you? It was accurate, she had no reason to believe in him, and add the situation that didn't help. He sat next to her on the bed. I equally know how it feels to be betrayed by those you depended on. No one should have to suffer if you help inform me where they are. I can get revenge for you, he said while subconsciously activating Talk no Jutsu. The raven was shocked, and looking at him she could recognize the pain in his eyes. That alone showed he experienced pain about having those you trust turn on you. Sitting in silence for a few minutes, arguing with herself over trusting him. I will tell you, but I want to go with you. He gently shook his head. You're injured, I can't risk you getting hurt again. The raven glared at him. No. I need to do this to show him I'm not someone who can be disposed of. The blonde smiled while placing a hand on her shoulder, confirming his support. Before long Jose came back from shopping and Naruto properly explained the situation. And he mutually agreed. Soon they all sat down and had dinner together, going over plans for the ambush. The raven, now introduced as Amina, promptly told the duo that her ex-teammates were holding up in a cave just outside of town. She also revealed their names as Abe and Shoji. Abe being the one Jose fought, and Shoji the team leader who fought Naruto. Using the next few days to carefully plan out their attack while Amina was recuperating. They informed Miss Hana about their plan. And she agreed and even supplied them with what they needed. Outside of the cave. All right. Are we all ready? Naruto asked both of his teammates, to which they quickly nodded. Let's get started then. The blonde chirped as he threw some explosive kunao at the cave to scare them out. It worked like a charm as the 2 men in question rushed out to see who was attacking them. All of them instantly jumped from the bushes and landed gently in front of them. Ah! So Amina, looks like you miraculously survived after all, huh? Shoji chuckled while Amina gritted her teeth and balled up her hands into fists. Chose, you take Abe, we will take him, Naruto said in a commanding voice that shocked his teammates for a second. Shoji smirked at this. Finally he would have a true challenge. Go ahead Abe, I have this. He nodded and went off with Chose to start their fight elsewhere. Well, let's have some fun. Chestnut-haired man said as followed Chose into the woods. Chose vs Abe. Landing in a clearing in the woods, both men got in their stances, staring, waiting for someone to make the first move. Let's see how round 2 goes. Water boy. 3 shurikens launched at Chose from one side while Abe came from another. Fire style, House Anka no Jutsu, mythical fire flower. Seeing the fire shooting at him, he substituted, appearing behind him. Water style, Mizu Peruto, water pellet. Abe dodging by a hair, he steadied himself and launched at Chose again, exchanging blows with their kunao. Clang clang clang. Looks like we're even for now. Fire style, House Anka no Jutsu, mythical fire flower. Hitting him point blank with some minor burns on his end, but Chose's arm had large burns on his left side. Only one arm left, can't do much, huh? He smirked at his jutsus damaged. This isn't good, maybe I can, he quickly thought before dodging a rain of kunao. Abe charged at him with a kunao in an attempt to stab him. Chose was dodging them, but his injured arm was a problem. Dodging one more strike, he channeled water chakra to his fingertips and threw it into his eyes. While he was stunned, Chose struck him across the face and made him stagger back. Cheap shot, but it won't happen again, he said with a scowl while rubbing his jaw. Fire style, Ryuuka no Jutsu, fire dragon. Shooting a dragon at him, Chose dodged with a few more burns to his legs. Damn, this is bad, I only have one trick left. Water style, hidden mist jutsu. A roll of mist shrouded the area, though not dense due to the location, but enough to conceal Chose's movement. Must be getting desperate if you're using this. He smirked, then noticed a shadow moving. He jumped at the figure, stabbing it with his kunao. Got ya. His grin soon turned into shock as the figure turned into a puddle. Fire style, Ryuula no Just, fire dragon. He heard a voice shout and a dragon aimed at him with no time to dodge. The dragon struck him in the back, burning him and launching him into a tree. Chose wasted no time and swiftly rushed to him while he was down and knocked him unconscious. I did it. He panted, falling to his knees in exhaustion. Now let's just hope Naruto is fine. Naruto and Amina vs Shoji. I see you're in one piece, Amina. How about you help me deal with these pests and all will be forgiven. She shook her head and declined the offer as she couldn't trust the man. After you left and used me as cover, never. Naruto was silent in this, but waiting for the fight to begin. Sigh. I guess I'll just have to take you both out. Gukaku no Jutsu, powerful fireball. Both the blonde and the raven dodged the fireball and threw a hail of kunao at him. Fire style, House Anka no Jutsu, mythical fire flower. Melting the kunao with the many fireballs. He engaged both of them in taijutsu. Throwing punches and kicks, he managed to deliver a hit on Amina, launching her back. While he was busy with her, Naruto came from behind him and kicked him in the ribs, separating them. Kaze no Dangan, wind bullet. The wind bullet slammed Shoji into a tree. But he recovered quickly. Fire style, Kane Hisami no Jutsu, fire release, incinerating hail technique. Aiming his hands up, he instantly shot fire chakra into the sky that formed into small fireballs and falling instantly towards Amina and Naruto like hail. Earth style, Darokugashi, rock shield. Stopping the rain of fireballs from hitting them after the barrage, Naruto ran at Shoji. Kage Bushin no Jutsu. Summoning 5 clones with each charging from different angles. Twisting and turning, Shoji expertly dodged the clones while landing hits on them, dispelling them. Kaze no Dangan, wind bullet. He narrowly dodged the attack and backed away from the blonde. Naruto summoned more clones and the exchange began once more, but this time he jumped away from the group. Gukaku no Jutsu. The fireball hit the group of clones, dispelling them and scorching the ground. The original came from his side, throwing his lightning-infused kunao at him, making him jump from his spot. They rushed each other and exchanged blows with their kunao. Clang, clang, clang. Swiping at the blonde's head, he got him to dodge and quickly brought a knee to his nose, stunning him while he put Naruto into a chokehold. You're good but not good enough. The blonde had a smirk on his face as he busted into smoke. Tsuka Shaoku no Jutsu, Earth Holding Technique. The ground beneath Shoji formed into fists and grabbed onto his legs, shocking him, and then heard a voice shout from behind him. Denshin no Jutsu, Electron Technique. The blast of lightning impacts him square in the back, stunning him long enough for Emina to punch him in the jaw, launching him. Arg, he steadied himself, spitting out blood, a look of hate in his eyes. Naruto stepped forward for Emina to hold a hand up, stopping him. He is mine to finish. The blonde nodded and stepped back to allow her to fight with the man. Even injured you won't win. Not listening to a word, she launched at him, throwing kicks and punches, and landed one striking his ribs, blocking a punch with her arm. For the next 5 minutes, she exchanged blows before Emina got the upper hand, striking him in the gut, launching him into the rock wall. Looks like you've lost, Shoji. Emina grinned, to which he scowled as he was in no situation to escape. Getting closer to him, she grabbed him by the collar to bring him up to her eyes before he unclasped his hand, throwing the dirt into her eyes. Overconfident, now I will end this. Fire style, Ryuk dash. He was cut off as a lightning-enhanced Konao strike him directly between the eyes, dropping him to the ground frozen. The man was dead and her chance at vengeance gone. You alright, Emina? I'm sorry for killing him. But you were in danger. She released a deep sigh. Thank you. Naruto, I'm not mad at you, just disappointed at myself for getting carried away and not keeping my guard up. He didn't say anything but merely put a hand on her shoulder. Soon Chose wobbled back with over his shoulder tied up. He looked a little worse for wear, but nothing too bad. We should head back and let the client know she's no longer in danger, Chose said, with both the Raven and Blonde nodding, and started to leave. They made their way back to Hana's compound, but not before dropping off Abe at the police. Miss Hana, we've neutralized the assassin, so you shouldn't be in danger anymore. She shook their hands, but then noticed Emina standing behind them. Oh. And who is this? I thought it was just you and your partner. Emina got on her knees and lowered her head to the ground, getting a raised eyebrow from Hana. Miss Hana, I must apologize. I was one of the people after your life, so do with me what you will. Hana frowned, turning to the boys, looking at them before turning back to her. Stand, girl. While I'm not happy, the fact these two trust you is enough for me. Emina looked up to see her smile. She was shocked. But I tried to kill you. Hana giggled at the shocked Raven before composing herself. I hold no grudge. In my line of business, your life is always in danger, but one of the lessons is one day's enemy can turn into one's friend. Emina smiled to herself at the foreign concept. Friend? I've never been called that before. Hana outstretched her hand and shook with Emina, with both the boys smiling under their masks at the display. Forgive me. Miss Hana, we need to return to our hotel to rest before heading out again, Chose said in his robot voice. Oh, and here I thought we could hang out drinking sake. Here, this is your payment. Reaching into her desk and pulling out an envelope and handing it to them. They said goodbyes once again before heading off to the hotel to rest after today's events. To be continued.